Thank you all for being here today, and welcome to the 2025 Powering Alabama's Future webinar series, hosted by the Alabama Mobility and Power Research Center at the University of Alabama. My name is Elizabeth Petitt. I serve as the Workforce Development Coordinator at the AMP Center and will be hosting today's episode. Now, as this is the very first episode within this webinar series, I would like to start us off by sharing a bit about the webinar series in general and introduce our lovely panelists. The goal for this series is to provide those interested in the battery manufacturing and electric vehicle industries with a general understanding of various topics, such as infrastructure, mining and supply chains, workforce development, safety, economic development, and the like in the great state of Alabama in easily digestible chunks. This episode is titled Building a Skilled Workforce for the Battery Industry. It focuses on the talent pipeline needed to support Alabama's growing battery industry, from manufacturing and assembly to software and maintenance. Now that my long-winded introduction is done, I would like to take a moment for the panelists to introduce themselves. If you could each share your name, affiliation, and what you or your company do, that would be greatly appreciated. Andrea, let's go ahead and start with you.
Absolutely. My name is Andrea Markham. I serve as the data analyst and counseling administrator for Tuscaloosa City Schools.
I'm Kevin Taylor. I'm the Deputy Director with AIDT. And of course, AIDT was established back in June of 1971. So we've been in existence for 54 years. We're a division of the Alabama Department of Commerce. So we're the state's workforce training incentive program, which means we incentivize new companies that locate here in the state, as well as existing companies that expand. And we support those companies with recruiting and various training services. And all services are at no cost to the companies that we support.
I'm Mike Hobson. I'm the Associate Dean for Technical Services at Shelton State Community College. Under my purview are several technical programs that, including manufacturing and transportation, that relate specifically to the topic that we're discussing today.
Hello, everyone. I'm Donny Jones with West Alabama Works and the West Alabama Chamber of Commerce. I serve as the Executive Vice President for the Chamber, and also am the Executive Director for West Alabama Works. We run the regional workforce system for the western part of the state. Also have the privilege of leading the team for Modern Manufacturing, which is a statewide program funded by the state legislature and the governor's office to focus specifically on manufacturers and building production and assembly employees across the state of Alabama.
I'm Jerry Bobbitt with Shelton State Community College. I'm the Director of Manufacturing Technologies. We have several programs, including electrical and electronics, among others.
Wonderful. Thank you all for those great introductions. As you can see, we have a wonderful group of panelists here with us today who bring a wealth of knowledge and information about workforce development and general talent needs. So without further ado, we will jump right into our questions. First up, I have a question for Kevin Taylor with AIDT. Kevin, what apprenticeship programs or internships are available to students and young professionals who are looking to enter the battery or EV industries in Alabama?
Okay, thanks, Elizabeth. I know Mike and Jerry may, of course, hop in with this question as well, since the Alabama Office of Apprenticeship, they have programs at every community college throughout the state. So, but I will say with the Alabama Office of Apprenticeship was actually launched back in January of 2017, and the original name was Apprenticeship Alabama. But And it is a registered U.S. DOL program. However, just a few years later, now it's called the Alabama Officer Apprenticeship Program. So which means it's administered at the state level. So it's state approved, which makes the approval process a lot more expeditious. So they have project managers across the state to support companies with this approach. And so every program is customized. So these project managers go to facilities and manufacturing facilities, especially automotive facilities, and of course customized training programs to fit their needs. And this apprenticeship program, of course, is twofold. The first part is, of course, the coursework at the community college systems, and then the other piece is, of course, they receive on-the-job training. And I tell you, this is one of the best ways to build a skilled workforce. And so I do know that at least a couple of colleges, Trenton State Community College has a EV training program. Wallace State Community College, the northern campus, has a EV manufacturing program as well. And then, of course, Shelton State and Mercedes has an apprenticeship mechatronics program. And so with them, they've the program is definitely focused on Mercedes vehicle technology, and so these programs, of course, have the foundations, I'll say the foundational skills that will, of course, build a good pathway into battery-related manufacturing roles. So, and also just real quick too, in regards to high school students, I do want to brag on Donny's organization or program, which is called the Modern Manufacturing Program, which is designed for high school students. And so this program is designed to give students the necessary skills for the manufacturing industry, and especially the automotive industry, the OEMs and their suppliers. So I know recently they've enhanced the program to align with the industry, and therefore the students are well equipped to receive employment, and not just receive employment, but also to be successful once they are employed there. And so they have a good foundation to progress into, again, the battery related manufacturing roles. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that program, since it's a high school program as well. And again, Mike and Jerry may chime in on apprenticeship programs at the community systems.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Kevin. Do you, Mike or Jerry, have anything to add about apprenticeship programs in the state?
Well, like Kevin mentioned, we do have a mechatronics program running at the plant at the Mercedes facility. On the Shelton State side, I'm relatively new to this role. My background was primarily in automotive for the past 32 years. I was a classroom instructor, and we started with battery electric vehicle training probably about 5 years ago, and but we primarily focused on the service side, service after the sale, technician training, if you will. So we just recently moved into the manufacturing side. We partnered up with the University of Alabama on the Battery Workforce Challenge, and there were 10 universities selected to participate in this Battery Workforce Challenge. And those schools that were selected partnered up with a local community college. And it's a 3-year competition where it's sponsored in part by Stellantis, however you say it. I always get corrected because I mispronounce it. To develop a battery pack that will fit in one of their Ram ProMaster delivery vans. So we've completed year 1 and year 2, and the University of Alabama students have constructed the battery pack and gotten the software where it needs to be, and we've helped them design that battery pack, and Stellantis has sent us a Ram ProMaster van. So we're about to enter year 3, and we're going to take that battery pack that we developed and we're going to fit it into that Ram ProMaster van. So that's really one of the things that we're doing here at Shelton State, is trying to work with the university. You know, at the College of Engineering level, those people are primarily responsible for research and development and design of these vehicles, and then after the sale, when they when they need to be serviced, we're focusing on service after the sale. And with Jerry and the electrician training that he's doing, we're looking at improving battery charging system infrastructure. So those are just a couple of the things that we are working on in the battery sector, is the infrastructure and technician training for service after the sale.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that insight, Mike. You have definitely been a wonderful partner to both the AMP Center and just the University of Alabama as a whole, both within your past and current position over at Shelton State. So we are very excited to see what collaborative efforts we can just get into and build together as we both move forward in our efforts. As Kevin did bring up Donny Jones, his modern manufacturing program, I do want to address a question to both you, Kevin and Donny. How are training programs being tailored to meet the evolving needs of the battery industry? And then which skills are in the highest demand?
So AIDT is currently in the process of constructing a new EV technology training center. It's going to be, and we're about 35% complete. Just received that information from the architect. It's going to be our 4th facility at the Robotics Technology Park, and it will encompass training in the full composition of battery manufacturing. And that's also including battery recycling, because of course that's going to be important, especially in the near future. We do plan to train production technicians, engineers in this electric vehicle manufacturing space. So it will have the same concept as our automation facility, which is our Robotics Technology Park. So, which means Alabama companies, especially automotive, can send their employees there to receive training at no cost. We also have created an EV advisory committee for the EV Technology Training Center that is comprised of of industry, of course, and that's all automotive OEMs. The University of Alabama, which is, of course, the AMP Center, the Alabama Community College System, the Alabama Technology Network, Auburn University, as well as equipment and training vendors to make sure that we support the EV technologies in training. We've also partnered, of course, with, as I mentioned, Mike Oakridge and Brad Wisnop with the AMP Center to share training curriculum and training resources. We've also partnered with SAE International and Clemson University in creating a new program called the EV Manufacturing Technician Program. And we do plan to launch this program November 2025. And the program is going to consist of 5 micro credentials, the EV fundamentals, EV safety, EV process and production, EV maintenance, and EV quality. And we all know that EV safety is very, very important. So individuals can actually select a module and get that micro credential. So if they want to take, of course, the EV safety, then get a micro credential in that one, absolutely they can do that. Now, if they can complete all 5, then they receive a full certification in EV manufacturing technician. Now, since EV safety is so important, that module is much more extensive. We all know that EV production is much more hazardous than ICE production, internal combustion engine. So again, these are some of the things that we're doing already to be proactive since the market has, I'll just say, decelerated a little bit using an automotive term, but so it's caused us to, again, to make sure that we have these programs ready to go when to continue to develop the workforce in the EV space. So I'll pass it over to Donny.
Thanks, Kevin. One of the things that I would probably add to that, being that we operate the Modern Manufacturing Center of Excellence here, and our team really is diving in in a partnership with the AMP Center to develop strong K-12 programs like Modern Manufacturing to build the workforce of tomorrow. I was in a conversation with the former president of one of the largest OEMs in the Southeast, and I asked him at that time, I said, what do we need to add to modern manufacturing to build a better EV production and assembly employee? And he looked at me and he kind of raised his eyebrow and he said, Donny, production is production. We need individuals that can show up on time, stay the whole time, get along with others, pass their drug test, and think critically. And then he did add, he said, the biggest component that I would add to anything is safety and a basic understanding of AC/DC and charge. And so that's why the team at the AMP has been so vital as a partner to us. And we have added that to the new curriculum to actually build that. So when you ask me the question, what do we need? We need qualified employees that basically have a strong work ethic, strong essential skills, work essential skills. Some people call it soft skills, but those types of things are what we're trying to build out for these more advanced manufacturing skill trades like mechatronics, like auto tech, and some of the others. So what we're seeing through our program is our advanced students actually moving into those youth apprenticeships. Matter of fact, we have students that are leaving high school every day out of modern manufacturing and going and building cars in one of our local OEMs. So it really is important to focus on what the real needs are and not what people talk about what we might need in the future, because there are real initiatives and needs of those plants today, and most of that is just competent production and assembly employees that really understand the safety protocols. But most importantly, Kevin hit on this, is quality. Quality is one of the biggest issues that we're seeing in a lot of our manufacturers across the state of Alabama. And it's something that we need to focus on when we're training these individuals, whether it is a youth program like Modern Manufacturing or in our community colleges or in our four-year institutions, is a focus to detail and a focus on quality and how that relates to safety and outcomes. So that would be what I would say is a real need, and how we need to focus going forward in the state for building those baseline skills that we need in our manufacturers in all sectors.
Wonderful. And you guys have both definitely hit the nail right on the head with safety and just this general idea of needing our workforce to have those safety skills to be safe as they are on the job. We actually discussed that in a later episode, so I'm glad that you brought that up so early. I'm also very glad that you both discussed professional as well as student programs and kind of alluded to the collaborative efforts that are needed to build the talent pipeline, which does start at the K-12 level and leads me straight into my next question. Moving more into the education system in Alabama, we have a wonderful question here for Mike and Jerry with Shelton State, as well as Andrea with the Tuscaloosa City School System. How are local educational institutions integrating battery-related technologies and programs into their curricula to prepare students for the future workforce?
I'll take this one first, just coming from the K-12 perspective. So in Tuscaloosa City Schools, we are very interested in helping prepare our students for what it is that they're going to be doing after high school graduation. You know, that's this idea of college and career readiness, but we do that in many different ways. For example, through partnership programs with many of the folks that you're hearing from today, but also by embedding those key pieces into our curriculum starting in grades K and progressing all the way up through high school. It's things ranging from teaching those essential skills that we just heard Donny talk about, to also embedding these specific vocabulary terms and technologies, EV specific or otherwise, into our existing courses where they are maybe not found, you know, specifically listed in the standard. We can always look at this content that we're responsible for teaching from a different perspective. So like science and social studies and CTE courses, these are a perfect opportunity for us to look through an EV lens and talk about how, you know, what you're learning in AP chemistry, electrochemical cells, like that's battery technology. And here are some potential career paths that relate to that. Things like the modern manufacturing program or even dual enrollment opportunities through Shelton State. I think these are really fantastic ways that we can make these opportunities available to our students without doing a lot outside of what we do all day anyway. But also, I think it's found in our extracurricular opportunities. Like, for example, some of our middle school students, they were building go-karts. And so they're taking those things that they're learning about in class and they're applying those specific concepts and skills in a real life thing. You know, it's not just learning out of a book or watching a video. They're having to apply these skills that they are learning. And then they're seeing how, like, all these concepts that we are teaching them have a place and an application and ultimately can put them in a position to work in this field or in this industry.
Yes, and just to piggyback off of that, you know, what she just mentioned on the go-karts is we're going to get in on that in phase 2, and we're going to start working with some of our computer science people to you know, modify the battery management system that's on these carts and run some real world testing on how different calibrations in the battery management system affect battery life and state of charge and, you know, range, things of that nature. So we're excited about that. You know, those things are on the way, and they're always a lot of fun. So, but back to the service side, you know, on the technician side, the good part about this is, you know, Toyota's been in this market for 25 years. You know, the Prius came out in 2001. You know, technicians are just now coming around to where you're starting to see some of these things roll through the door. ASE has, on the credential side, they have a specialist credential, which is called the hybrid and EV specialist. It's called the L3. So that's one of the things that we're gearing our training towards, is having the student earn that industry recognized credential. The good part about this sector is that the skill set has changed, but the amount of knowledge that a technician needs is narrower, because all hybrids and electric vehicles have the same components. Whereas traditionally, when a technician was working on a car equipped with an internal combustion engine, they had to learn, multiple different engines, transmissions, drivetrains, so on and so forth. You're dealing with the same set of components. So the breadth of knowledge is narrower, but the skill set is it's totally different. So and that appeals to a wider range of people that might not have been interested in transportation in the past. So when you frame it like that, it's not what it used to be. It's more networking, diagnostics, electrical. You get a new response. So you're looking at a different group of interested people. And I'll let Jerry talk to the manufacturing side of what we're doing here at Shelton State, because that is his role with us.
So for over a decade now, Shelton's been partnering with one of our local manufacturers and providing the mechatronics training program, and it reaches across several disciplines, electrical, electronics, and mechanical in particular. And not only does it prepare students for entry into the maintenance world in manufacturing, but it crosses into many different industries and businesses as far as supplying technicians. We're providing a base of knowledge, or a foundation, if you will, for them to begin their career in not just electrical or electronics, but working on the machines, robots, assembly line equipment, anything that can that you can find in a manufacturing facility. And not only in manufacturing, but if you think about it, if you go pump gas at a gas station, you still have to have the same set of tools, knowledge-wise, to work on that gas pump as you would an assembly machine in a manufacturing facility. And how that applies to battery technology, in particular, having been in the local battery assembly plant, the same technology that we're talking about as far as mechanical know-how, electrical know-how, and how electronic circuits work, in addition to programming automated processes, it all dovetails together to supply the needs and open up career fields in a wide array of disciplines.
I find it absolutely fantastic that Andrea and Mike, you guys brought up the EV go-kart program, which was, of course, pioneered by the workforce development team here at the AMP Center in collaboration with our local education institutions, with the ultimate goal of getting students interested in these industries and to introduce foundational skills such as project management and leadership that are needed in just about any professional role. I am thrilled to hear that this program has had such a great impact on your students at multiple different levels as we work to expand this program to additional areas in Alabama. And Jerry, you spoke right to the interdisciplinary skills that are needed within these battery and EV industries, as well as the current existing auto industries, which are not just going to exist without a trace. This discussion just goes to show how critical it is that education at all levels collaborates not only among themselves, but also with industry to ensure that real world skills are being provided to students to just properly prepare the future workforce and ensure that we will be well supported and well developed. To wrap up our questions, I have one for all of our guests here today, so please feel free to jump in as necessary. With the rapid growth of the battery sector, how do you anticipate workforce demand evolving in the next 5 to 10 years? And then what specific fields or jobs do you see becoming more critical?
I guess I'll start. Elizabeth, we all know that, 32, 33 years ago, we did not have any automotive, uh, especially automotive OEMs here in the state. Now of course, we have five, with Mercedes, Honda, Hyundai, Mazda, as well as Toyota. So, and we're producing 1.3 million cars per year, over 50,000 people that are employed here in the state. And so, which means, primarily they were, ICE vehicles, internal combustion engines. Now, of course, I think we have about five vehicles that are electric vehicles that are produced here in the state, which is the Mercedes Benz EQS SUV, the EQE SUV, and then with Mercedes, the Maybach EQS SUV, and then of course with Hyundai, they're producing the Genesis GV70, and then Santa Fe hybrid. So about five vehicles as of now. There may be a few more that's coming very soon. But to my point is, the word electric is super important, and the reason why I say that is, we already have a shortage in regards to skills trades, and what I mean by that is industrial maintenance people, but especially on the electrical side. So, the next 5, 10 years, of course, I see, engineering, skills trades, as I just mentioned, industrial maintenance people, but especially the electrical maintenance people, and then battery software development as well. So if you think about the fields, many of the fields are going to be battery related, because at 5 to 10 years, it's at some point we're going to see an uptick. It's electric vehicles are going to happen. So battery cell technicians, battery pack assembly workers, process engineers, more logistics and material handling, automation, in regards to robotics and PLCs. And then on the science and quality side, and Donny mentioned the quality side. So you have your battery chemists, you have your chemical engineers, your quality assurance people that will be in high demand. So again, um, a, a lot of people, or a lot of positions that are going to be related to the battery sector. So we know that we'll need, the EV battery service technicians as well. And that's more on the with the community college systems. You go to dealerships now; they're mainly working on ICE vehicles. But in the future, in the next 5, 10 years, we're going to need service technicians to work on electric vehicles. So in a nutshell, those are many of the courses, as well as programs, and also, of course, different positions that will be in high demand.
I personally believe that the hot thing is going to be autonomous vehicle operation inside of the metros. I think that when you poll I think there's a generational shift about car ownership and driving from point A to point B. I think people would prefer to just hop in and reach their destination, whether that vehicle is driven by someone else or autonomous. I think that you're looking at autonomous vehicle operation, and I think that personal vehicle operation, ownership, not operation, will slow over the next 5 to 10 years. And I think that inside metropolitan areas where you have widespread deployment of 5G technology at the intersection level, I think that is going to be where the next shift occurs in autonomous vehicle operation and signal operation, traffic flow, things of that nature.
And that's a very good point, Mike. In regards to, I mentioned automation just a few minutes ago. With manufacturing, special automotive manufacturing becoming highly automated, we're going to need, especially in the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to need more people, industrial maintenance people, cell operators to become more skilled in automation with robotics and PLCs. So, of course, we have as I mentioned earlier, the Robotics Technology Park, and these employers here can send their technicians there to receive training in automation, and of course, again, that's robotics, PLCs, as well as vision camera systems. So that is another skill that Mike brought up that's going to be extremely important to the future.
Yeah, Elizabeth, I'll jump in and say I agree with what both these gentlemen have said, but I would also say that, as we look at what's going on with the tariffs and the fact that we've been in conversations with OEMs and manufacturers about onshoring their suppliers, for example, the question that we really have to look at from an overall workforce perspective is, are we ready for the next phase of manufacturing to be onshored in America? And I would probably say that the answer to that question is currently we are not. And so that's why it's so important to have these programs that focus on the base level and then the cream rising to the top, and then engaging these individuals in apprenticeship programs and career technical education is crucial. I'm not sure, Mike, if I agree with 5 to 10 years on on vehicles kind of waning. But at the same time, I think that is inevitable with technology and what's happening. A lot of that, I guess you'd say that bell curve has slowed tremendously due to the new administration. Neither here nor there. We have got to focus on how do we fill the role of the 90% of our manufacturers' needs, and really focus on that as well. So I think it's going to be a combination of our STEM jobs, our engineering, our mechatronics. Kevin did a great job of listing a lot of the positions that will be needed, but at the same time, we can't lose focus on the bread and butter plays, as some of our great coaches would say. We've got to tackle and block, and we've got to do what's needed to take care of our manufacturers, because they're going to be expanded in all of these areas. AI is doing a lot on the research side, and it's taking a lot of the heavy weight off of that. So we're going to need more skilled trades. And when I say skilled trades, I'm talking about even those entry-level production jobs. There's more skill that's going to be needed in entry-level jobs, particularly in our automotive industry, as we see more and more of these EVs coming online.
I would agree with all that's been said. I would like to add that we, as education in particular, have got to find a way to attract young people out of high school and even in middle school toward technical based careers. As far as the particular, one particular need that I see coming is, and Mike had touched on it earlier, as far as networking and communication. The Industry 4.0 is more geared toward data collection and optimizing efficiencies, and it's not prevalent as far as a skill set in even our existing workforce, as far as the mechatronics technicians and maintenance technicians don't have that networking background or that computer science background as far as coding. Although we do touch on it, there's going to be much more need than what is currently developed in the workplace. It is a thing that I see coming down the pipe at us.
Wonderful. You all have shared such great insights into the EV and battery industries. You have truly given our listeners a strong introduction to this field. This has been just a wonderful discussion surrounding workforce development in general. As always, the AMP Center does thank you for your continued support. And for our listeners out there, be on the lookout for our upcoming webinar episodes. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at empettitt@ua.edu or the AMP Center at ampcenter@ua.edu. See you next time.